of the Wesbank modified saloon cars. They're all standing on the grid, all 40 of them. They've come down to Durban and they're going to thunder around the streets of Durban and provide some great action. And there they are on pole, Tony Vion in the Winfield BMW M5. Alongside him, the animal, Willie Hepburn, that little man who handles this beast of a motor car so well. That Sabat Sierra, 5 litres of V8 Ford Mustang power. Ben Morganrood's next. He's off to America on Monday, going to look for some parts to make this car go faster. Not far behind them at all, and a lightweight car, lots of acceleration out the corners. Henny van der Linde looks like he's missing from the grid. Had a bit of gearbox trouble in practice. Then it's Ivarage from East London, and in the RX-7 Mazda, that's the Hyperspares Mazda. And then Brian Verzaden in the Vista Home Skyline is right up there on the 3rd row of the grid. There you can see he's wobbling his car just behind them as they go around Volkswagen corner. It's the full field. Everybody who had a Wesbank modified saloon took it out of his garage and brought it down to Durban. And these streets of Durban have certainly roared to the excitement of racing machinery, from everything from Ferraris down to 125cc motorcycles. And just look at them. Peter Lance is well up there. He's in his Sabat Golf. Dick Sorensen had a bit of trouble. He's down in the pack. There's the New Era Skyline. You could have just seen going through there. That's Nico van Rensburg. And here's BP Nissan. That's one of the 3-litre Nissan 6s. All the others. Brian Cook is in down there. He's the man who chairs the Wesbank Modified Association. And there's the heavy metal coming around. Ivarage is just going around wide with David alongside him. A nice performance there from Farney Els from Cape Town. He's in an Alpha GTV. The white one, number 27, nice to see. V6 3-litre Alphas, still in action, still able to get on the 3rd or 4th row of the grid. Peter Lance is leading class here, that's a 2-litre. 1 row behind him, George Fishy in Delta Motorsports Opel Cadet, the yellow one. You'll pick him up easily. He wants to get to grips with Peter Lance. There he just comes into side now, very aggressive, angry looking little motor car. George Fishy just back from racing in Japan. Here they come now, and the pace is being led there by Tony Viona. He has the option of keeping them behind him, so he'll just come round that last corner at Ford and power towards the line when it suits him, as he dictates the speed of this field going around on his Hyperspares, Brian Verzaden, Barney Els, George Fishy just coming up behind Peter Lance. I see the Larry Wolford Mazda RX-7 as well up there. It's a new one he's just brought out. He's a very quick driver. Frank Fowles from East London is there in the Mazda RX-7, a beautifully turned out blue and white one. And here they come. Most impressive and fastest cars in South Africa. So look at them. This 40, they'll be going around on the starting grid and going before those other cars have come around Kings Park Stadium. It's such a big field as the pace car hurries away from Ford Corner. And these front runners are going to go. Some of the others are still in the Kings Park Stadium on that sweep. It shows great definition. Here they come, and away they go. They roar past us, and Willie Hepburn tucked in right behind the wing of that 475 horse BMW. They're pushing out horsepower like Formula 1 cars of old. They really are powerful. Make no error about it as they stream through. The man leading Class D is Jan Coetzee ahead of George Verzaden. Coetzee in one of the fastest escorts, of course, in the world. Here they come towards us. It's 500 meters. These are heavy motor cars, anything up to 1,300 kilograms onto the brakes. Hepburn, in fact, drives one of the heaviest ones. He's got to watch for that big stripe of cement there that signifies down. Cement to sweep it up. And here they come. The man's losing out. Morganrood starting to challenge. And that screaming 6 Winfield BMW is really roaring around the circuit. Here he comes, the BMW, the Sabat Sierra. There is the Morganrood, that BP Mazda. And right on his tail he's got Ivarage from King Williamstown. Those are the 4 heavies we got at the moment coming around here. Ivarage, very competitive in the peripherally ported Mazda engine, like the Formula Atlantic motors were of old. Nothing between these 4 as they come out of Ford Corner and power towards us. It looks like Monte Carlo as they come through here, and he looks like he's battling with his gearbox. It's Tony Viona. He was moving, fiddling with something in his car, and those are the 4 we're going to see up front, but we'll look for some of these other races a little further down the race, down the field as this race progresses.
Tony Viona in die BMW M5, Willie Hepburn in die Sierra, die Only Animal, die V8 Sierra. Daar is het Ben Morganrood en zijn Mazda RX-7 en dan Ivarage. Maar daar is die weer die Beringman draai. En dit is Hepburn wat hom baie wyd vat. Hepburn vat hom baie wyd, net gee vir die Mazda RX-7 van Morgenrood kans om weer te kom. So net daai Ford is iets wat van 'n swaar motor, die Mazda is baie lig en dit is net die paar sekondes wat Morgenrood nodig gehad het om daai Mazda se neus verby te druk. Maar nou gaan Willie Hepburn in die Seibert Sierra gaan nou alles in sy vermoë doen om by daai Mazda verby te kom. Die Ford natuurlik 'n 5 liter V8 masjien in vergelyking met die 1,4 liter of die 1,4 die inhoudskapasiteit van die RX-7. Nou alhoewel hy aansien 'n wankelmasjien het, word hy geklassifiseer as 'n 2,3 liter masjien. So hy is daar en hy moet meeding teen die groot kanonne. Die Mazda RX-7 van baie ligter as die groot Ford van Willie Hepburn en hierdie gaan 'n baie interessante wedren wees tussen die twee van hulle, want die BMW van Tony Viana is reeds onder lys getrek. Die 6-silinder, die 3,5 liter met die 24 kleppe, ontsaglik interessante en kragtige masjien, die 3,5 liter BMW, en hy is heel voor, heeltemal onder uitgetrek, so ek reken die groot stryd van wees tussen Morgenrood en die Mazda RX-7 en Willie Hepburn. Fanny Els het opgeskyf van die Alfa GT4, en soos Roger vroeger gesê, dit is absoluut 'n goeie gesig om Alfa weer in sulke kompetisie te sien, die 3 liter, die V6, 3 liter, die GT4-6 van Fanny Els. Hy het hom ingebring in die 4de posisie. So ons kan sien die motor is redelijk ver uit mekaar uitgespreid en daar dan is 'n probleem of 2. Hierdie is een van die Seibert Nissans. Dit lyk vir my na Dave Hawkins. Hy het 'n probleem gekry, Dave Hawkins. Die baan is baie nou en daar kan ons die randsteen sien aan die linkerkant. So ongelukkig het ons nie presies iets wat gebeur het nie, maar hy het 'n probleem gekry. Roger, jy het meer inligting wat daar gebeur het.
Well, the only way I'm picking it up, John, is that I can smell it. There was hot oil, all right. There was hot oil coming from under that bonnet, and there's a strong smell of it around the circuit as the BMW comes through, being chased now by Morgenrood, is getting away from the big Ford. The big Ford is slowing down. A little further back, the big Ford is pulling off too. Willie Hepburn is pulling off in the Seibert Sierra, and Morgenrood now is left in the front there. It's Morgenrood in second position, and in third position, Els goes into third. Brian Bazano is next with Peter George Fishy and Johan Kutsi right behind him. So the race is lying a little further back. There he is. That's the big Ford of, there they are. There's two of the front runners are pulling off there. Dave Hawkins all the way up from Cape Town. And then that big Seibert Ford. And Willie's not finished. He doesn't give up easily. Willie's looking something. There was no smoke coming out of that bonnet. He's on the go and he's into the back markers already. Comes around that sweep, and just as he's getting himself really tucked in around there, there's the Cape Town Alpha. Looks like Gary Harrison's one. Those colourful ones. That's the Nissan Skyline of Randall with Tillman ahead of him, and here comes the big man. Here comes Tony Viana. He's not hanging around at all. Wasn't really happy about the circuit yesterday when he's practiced. Saul van der Merwe on the other end, his little group in Volkswagen GT. I just think that the greatest. He says you can really go mad. This is how they race in the States, and you just love it. Put your foot down and power. And Viana's doing just that, getting through the field. Morgan is coming up the road, as you can see. And the fastest lap so far, 1 minute 59, a very good time indeed. Very good time indeed. And there those two stationary cars. Willie Hepburn is pushing his car away as Viana goes on his way. And this is now into his fifth lap.
Ja nee, in die 5de ronde reeds voltooi, daar is net 10 rondes, so halfpad deur die wedren is het Tony Viana in die vrystater, halfpad rus, wat in die BMW, die M5 hier met die Laure gaan wegstap, indien hy nie ander Indian probleme ook optel nie. Maar moet nie vir Den Morgenrood totaal al weg van die dames, sien hoe wyd hy weer deur die draai gaan, maar die afstand tussen Morgenrood en Viana, die BMW en die Mazda, is redelijk groot. Fanny Els is daar in die 3de posisie, so Fanny Els het weer opgeskyf, en dit is 'n uitmuntende vertoning vir die GT4-6 Alfa. Dit is waarvan ons vroeger jare gepraat het, toe Alfa nog hier by ons in die land was, maar nog steeds is ons 'n hele klomp Alfa aanhangers en Alfa manne, en dit doen my hart definitief baie goed om vir 'n Alfa weekends hier in die 3de posisie te sien, die 3 liter Alfa van Fanny Els. Brian Bazano in die Nissan Skyline is 4de, dan Pieter Lans, nummer 58, dis nie hy wat dan beeld is nie, maar ander Golf. Dan Pieter Lans is 5de, George Fisher in die Cadet PSI, en die 6de Perry Driver, en dan Johan Kutsi in die Escort. So Tony Viana in die BMW, op hierdie stadium heel voor, Ben Morgan in die Mazda, hou sy posisie daar, Gary Dunkerley gaan verby, en hier het ons vir nummer 19, B19, George Fisher en Roger het meer inligting oor daai motor.
Well, that's Nicker van Rensburg. There he is. They're having a fair dust up there with Colin Clay just behind him. And there's Gary Dunkley, the arch enthusiast of motor racing in South Africa. He races Chevrons, he races these cars, Porsches a lot. Oh, and the Cornwright's motor, that is Don Brains, has got trouble. That's a very pretty streamlined little motor car. The bonnet's open and he's not going to go far. He's trying to see underneath there. He says, just shut the bonnet, I want to get underway. But that other race going on nicely there with Nicker van Rensburg, he's bent it badly. He's not going to... Good work. That's what happens to your car when you take it into panel beaters. They're trying to get it closed. He says it's not closing. Saying, get me some tape, get me some straps. They want to get him underway. It's nice to see the urgency that they are working under there, and they just punch it out with those big heavy gloves they got on. All the drama race. And here's more action. Here's more action. We've got Brian Bezuiden out here. This is for third position and closing on him. You see the Sabre, the Golf of Peter Lance, and there's George Fishy. There's Barney Elst. There's Bezuiden. This is where the race lies at the moment. There's the little Golf of Peter Lance, and right behind him George Fishy comes into sight. The Springbok just back from Japan, as I say. Barney Elst, he's lying third at the moment. Fourth is Brian Bezuiden in the Vista Home Skyline, and Lance with that little Golf is getting around this circuit to great effect. He goes around yellow pages, exits towards the front wheel drive car, and he's staying right in there at 6th on the Skyline. These short straights, the lightweight of that car is certainly suiting each other as they close up an Elf, and George Fishy's not letting him get away in that Opel. That little yellow Opel, it's such an impressive looking little motor car. But this is his big competition ahead of him. There's George Fishy. It's a highly modified little Opel as they come up on some of the slower traffic. This race has only got to run to 10 laps. They've gone 6 already. There's Neville Tillman getting past by Barney Elst, and Bezuiden closing on him. So is Peter Lance. That's Bezuiden in the Vista Homes car. Lance looking for a way through as they came past Simon Krobler there. Flight engineer in the airways is Krobler, and Gloss is right on his tail, passing Tillman. George Fishy passing them as well as they get past Tillman. This is going to be a fight to the finish, and Brains has gone right into the Armco railing. You couldn't see where he's going. As he came out of Beringsman corner, he ran into the Armco and it's going to do a little bit more damage. But here it lies. This is where it is. Couple of car lengths, and they're all heavy action. That's the third man. That's the fourth man. There's the fifth. Third, fourth, fifth. And George Fishy is losing a bit of ground in 6th position. And just behind them, well known, 35 years in racing, is Paddy Driver in his Duckham's Mazda. And then, incredibly, Johan Coetzee comes along next in his little Borg-Warner Escort. That's another great race going on just behind them. Just the 3 laps to go. They've done 7 laps now. There's Bezuiden, there's Peter Lance. George Fishy losing a bit of ground there. Watch him closing. Nicely turned out car. Brian Bezuiden has put this car looking very similar to the car that Henny van der Linde built. There's Fishy. The yellow car. Bezuiden holds the record now for spinning his Skyline all the way from Sucken's corner down in Cape Town, about half a kilometre up to the Sabre sweep, all in one go, and frightening everybody through. He's starting to use that Armco for brake markers. He's staying right in there. He wants that third place badly, and he's prepared to stay right in there with him.
En hier die derde en vierde positie, Roger, daar is een groot strijd aan. Want de branders zijn dat de Nissan Skyline 2,8 liter Nissan Skyline wil net bij die Alfa van Fanning Elst bijkomen. Daar kan we zien, hij is kort op zijn hakken. Vooral dat die Beringman draai was die twee bijna aan elkaar geweest. Maar het is interessant geweest om te zien toe al twee deur is, hoe al twee van hulle, die achterkant is so iets wat wegzakt as die krachtweer geleverd word op die achterwiele. En byt die bande, die groot gladde, die renbande, byt hulle weer vast en dan trek hulle. So ek dink vir die derde en vierde posisie is die strijd nou grootliks aan. Peter Lance het so iets wat teruggesak in die Golf GTI. En George Boucher en die Opel Kadett is ook 'n hele eentjie agter hulle. So Tony Viana op hierdie stadium is die man wat voorloop in die BMW M5. Dan is het Ben Morgan in die Mazda RX-7. Dan Fanning Elst nou in beeld in die wit Alfa GT4. En Brian Bezuiden in die Vista Homes skale net agterom. Hier die Wesbank is hierdie keer lyk dit daar kan ons sien in die voorbeeld so iets wat gelig het van Bezuiden se Nissan. En daar kom George Boucher net so klein flipsie terwyl gesien vir George Boucher. En sy GT Kadett. Maar nou lyk dit vir my as die Alfa se langer bene bietjie begin tel nou die 3 liter Alfa. En die Nissan Skyline kan net by hom kom. Daar kan ons sien Brian Bezuiden het hard gerem daar, want daar het so iets wat van rook achteruit gekom. Daar kan ons sien, as hy weer daardie voet plat in die hoek trap, is dit die 2,8 liter 6 cilinder van daardie Nissan Skyline wat sing as hy daar afkom. So ek dink dit is 'n baie goeie gesig vir al die Alfa aanhangers wat verlang teen. Ek was nie baie Alfas op ons bane gesien nie. Daar is nog 31, dis Pieter Lans in die Golf GTI. Ons eie werkswinkel waar hy motorstoor daar in Wynberg en hy is die man wat ook self die nuwe bakwerk, die Golf 2 wat hy hier voorberei. Hy kan verlede seisoen met 'n ou Golf gery. So die Wesbank Golf van Pieter Lans is werklik waar 'n goeie vertoning. En hierdie wedren is byna verby en nou is daar groot verkeersloop.
Trying to get through in his Porsche. There's Larry Wolford in there too. They're all queue up for that corner. Nicker van Rensburg. There's Larry Wolford going through. There's Nicker van Rensburg. It looks like the Cape Town Alpha coming through there of Harrison's. Gary Harrison coming through and Fiona safely through, passing the Cornwright's car, that very pretty one, as he comes through now. There's Larry Wolford going very nicely in that Sayback Mazda RX-7 through the S's, the T and NS's. This is the last lap for Tony Viana. He's going to win this race by quite a considerable margin. Watch him into the final two corners. He goes round the sweep. He straightens the sweep. Now he's onto the brakes. You see the nose dip down. What a tremendous drive. He saved his car. This is an artist on circuits all over South Africa. A driver never to be underestimated is Tony Viana. Oh, and it's sliding all his way out of fourth. Comes across the line. And the lead will put a watch on him as he comes out here. And then there's Larry Wolford comes across the line, and he's got behind him Pat Duckham. In Nicker van Rensburg come, they've been lapped by him, and we're just waiting for the Mazda to tell you just how far it is, if he's coming out of the corner at all. Here he comes across the line now. It's 17, nearly 18 seconds that Tony Viana has beaten Ben Morgenroot in that the BP Mazda. So the final result of that race, Tony Viana winning in the Winfield BMW M5 ahead of Ben Morgenroot in the BP Mazda RX-7. And then Fani Else came home in the Alpha just ahead of Vista Skyline, Vista Home Skyline. Peter Lance won the 2-litre class in the Golf GTR, that Saybat Golf, ahead of George Fishy in the Delta Motorsport Opel. Next came Paddy Driver in his Duckham's Mazda, and winning Class D, the 1600 class, who out in the Borg Warner Escort.